everybody, and welcome back to Frankie's Aquatics, right here on the wonderful platform that is YouTube. First and foremost, I hope you've all had a very good week. I have had a good week as always. I seem to be punching these good weeks right in the backside. Having a great time with Frankie's Aquatics. Things are progressing, things are moving along a lot faster than I very first anticipated, but I'm enjoying it. It's great fun. I'm communicating with so many more of you guys. My babies are being shipped around all around the country. I've had some brilliant customers come and collect. It has just been quite the eye-opener to how amazing this hobby actually is. I mean, I always knew this hobby was great. This hobby is above and beyond more than I could have ever have hoped for. And it's becoming a lot more than just a hobby. It's becoming a lifestyle for me. This is now becoming a business, a home-run business, which is something I'd always dreamed of. And it was always kind of the long-term plan. But it's happening, and it's happening very fast. And I have you guys to thank for that. The amount of people that have contacted me on Instagram or through eBay or whatever the avenue might be and said, hey, nice to meet you, Frankie, I found you through YouTube. Considering I'm still a very small YouTuber, it's absolutely heartwarming. So thank you all so much, and if you're one of those people, thank you so much. I'm willing to answer any questions or anything that people might have, so do keep them coming as well. I receive quite a lot of questions and queries and all that fun stuff, and I will never turn anybody away. I've had people that come to me for advice, and I give advice, and they're looking for an axolotl. Obviously I'm a breeder, I sell axolotls, and then they choose to buy from somewhere else. Listen, I'm not going to lose any sleep over that. That's fine. I'm absolutely cool with that. It's just nice to know that people come to me for advice, and obviously take my advice on board and know that I'm doing right by the axolotls. Thank you all so much. So this week's video is going to be, oh, by the way, do you like the merch? I forgot to say, do you like it? Do you like it? Oh, I forgot all about these. So I've got a very close friend called Chris, Christopher Wells to be precise is his Sunday name. A very nice gentleman. I'll leave his details right up. Bing, here. Very nice bloke. Been friends with him for a while now. Genuinely nice chap. Quite creative. I mean, look at his logo. Chris can. If anyone can, Chris can. And I have to stand by that. He's done a lot of things for me over the years in regards to his creativity, and I have a lot to thank him for. So if you like the merch, check out this guy. He does absolutely everything you could possibly think of. If you've got a little idea in your head about a t-shirt design, let's say, which has been kind of been bugging you out for a little while, go to Chris, because guess what? Chris can. That's terrible. I'm not lying though, Chris actually can. That's why I kind of go there. Anyway, he kindly printed me these t-shirts ready for Wharf Aquatics, which is tomorrow, because I'm filming this on the Saturday and I'm there on the Sunday. So hopefully the bonus video this week will be you guys meeting me at Wharf Aquatics. How cool would that be? I'm hoping there's going to be a few of you that turn out. Anyway, today's video, back to today's video. Today's video is going to be about axolotls diet and what they can eat. And I'm going to share with you how I do things and how I've had success raising spawn and raising baby axolotls into beautiful, ripened, beautiful, juicy, puppy looking axolotls. It's so cute. I call them water pups. I've said it in numerous videos. They are water pups. I love them. They are adorable. They are very cute. And they are like no other. Even Grumpy would crack a smile like that, wouldn't you, Grumps? So today's video is going to be about that, how you raise an axolotl. We're going to start right the way from the moment they leave the egg. So an axolotl will leave its spawn. It's like almost like frog spawn. And they will start to look for food pretty much instantly, right away from the moment he hatches out of the egg. Now, what do you do to provide food? Now, first thing you're going to need to do is you're going to need to provide something that's alive, because axolotls, especially when they're babies, work solely off movement. So unless their food is moving, they will not come a-grooving. That was terrible. That's me dad's side creeping out. It's just me dad jokes, and they're just getting worse with age. But it's true, they will not eat anything unless it's moving. So I choose to raise and hatch out my own baby brine shrimp. Now, they're fairly easy to do. I won't go into the details of how I do it in this video, that's a whole other video, but they're fairly easy to raise. And then what I do is I pour a percentage of the water in with the babies when they're a couple of days old from when they've hatched, and then they'll take to them perfectly. It's really quite the sight to watch a baby axolotl find on his feed for the first time. It is it's spectacular, to be honest. They are literally just so driven by food, and that never really changes with an axolotl. And they will look for their food, and when they find their food, they will happily snap it up, and it's so adorable. And then over time, as they progress and they get older and bigger, more so bigger than older, because they do grow at very different rates. So if you're looking at what age do I feed my axolotl this, don't really go on age personally. I go on size of the axolotl. So when they reach a couple of centimetres, maybe 1.5 centimetres, I will then switch over onto frozen defrosted bloodworm, which is very easy to get. It's just this stuff over here. Basically, it's in a blister pack. You pop out a cube, you let it defrost for a couple of minutes, and then you chop it up and you feed your baby axolotls some frozen bloodworm. Great stuff. They take to it very well, and then they never really look back from there. They will max out very quickly on those. They will find their appetite, they will get excited about food, they will start looking at you for food, and you can still feed frozen bloodworm when they're older. I choose not to really when they get too big, because they don't really have any nutritional value to the axolotl. Not that what they won't get from what they eat when they're older anyway. So from there, then you can switch on to bigger food when they get to a bigger size, almost adult size. You're going to start feeding earthworms, or night crawlers as some people call them. Anything that's worm-like. So earthworms, that's what I feed mine on, which I buy from the pet store in these little punnets. They look very appetising at all. But basically there is actually worms in there. And then I just get them out. I chop them up if needs be to feed smaller axolotls that have got a bit of a stronger appetite. I chop them up and I offer them to my growing babies and to my adult axolotls. They will snap them up and love them. They'll have no trouble finding their appetite when it comes to the earthworms, and they will get very big very fast on earthworms. Once you transfer them over from bloodworm to earthworms, the rest is history. They will grow out very quickly and they will become very more animated and cute and adorable, and lo and behold, they can actually withstand that for the rest of their diet. They can eat other things, but they don't really require other things, and really earthworms are perfect as a staple diet for any axolotl. It's just a case of converting them over onto them. well. There is such things as pellets, which are these things here. These are not any particular brand, but they're by Tropical. No way endorsed by this company or anything like that, but that's what I personally use. Now, when I very first got these, I only had Pixel at the time, and he wasn't, or sorry, she wasn't very interested in them at all. It took me a while to get her to eat them, and what happened one day is I went to my pet store to pick up my usual weekly round of worms, and there was a trouble with the supply, and we didn't actually get any that week. And I was like, ooh, what are we going to do? So I came home and I thought, well, I'm going to have to try you again on these. And what happened, I had Flick then, and I put a few in, and Flick took to them straight away. And I never really offered them to Flick because I obviously kept to the earthworms. So I tried them on the pellets. And once Flick started snapping them up, Pixel showed more of an interest as to what he was eating. So then she came over quite inquisitively and checked out the food, which was, again, just simple salamander pellets, nothing fancy. And as soon as she seen that Flick was onto them, she wanted some of it, and she started eating them too. And I do feed them, but only on occasion. The reason I don't stick to these as a permanent staple part of the diet, and only as a treat every now and again, is I do tend to find, not necessarily this brand, but some brands can really make your waters a little bit unbalanced, so they can really spike your ammonia and cause havoc with your cycle. And not only that, if they're left and you don't see a pellet or two that's not been eaten, and they do dissolve down into the water, it can make the water quite cloudy as well. So just bear that in mind as well when it comes to feeding your axolotl. And that really is everything. That is everything that I do. You can feed shrimp. I've heard people online that do feed shrimp, or prawns as we call them in the UK. They frost them and they offer prawns. I haven't done that. I'm not saying that it's bad or good, it's just something I've never tried, so I've not really got much of an experience or much of an opinion on that, to be honest. It's just something that I haven't tried myself. People also feed feeder fish, which I just don't particularly like to do, because I quite like fish. I don't think it's very humane to feed any kind of live animal to another animal. Really, that's just my opinion anyway. So I wouldn't recommend feeder fish either. Not only that, feeder fish can and quite often get stuck in the gills of the axolotl. So obviously as the axolotl eats and the fish frantically swims to try and save its little life, they can poke out at the sides of the gills of the axolotl, which for one can prove very, very dangerous to the axolotl himself, and for two, it mustn't be very comfortable for either party in that situation. The feeder fish must have a horrible, excruciating death, because he hasn't technically been eaten. He's kind of just stuck, wedged in between the gills, and I can only imagine it's very painful and very uncomfortable for the axolotl too. So that's why I wouldn't go anywhere near feeder fish. Again, just my opinion. I'm not saying not to do it completely, but that's my opinion as to why I don't do it. So I can't really advise you and tell you to do it, because it's something I don't try and do myself. That's pretty much it. I don't think I've missed anything, really, have I? Have I not? If there's anything I've missed or you'd like to ask a question about feeding, then also let me know in the comments below. Always happy to get back to each and every comment I receive. You can also reach me on Instagram. The relevant links are up here, so it's at Frankie's Aquatics for obviously the Frankie's Aquatics page, and then my personal account where I do kind of sing a lot in my stories. So just warning you, I'm pre-warning you, I sing quite a lot. Every morning with a coffee I'm singing my little socks off, and that's at Shade09. If you haven't done so already, please be sure to hit the subscription button, also hit the notification bell, and yeah, hit the like button too. Make it known that you're liking the content that I'm producing. Thank you all so much for stopping by and checking out this week's video. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have talking to you. And until next time, I shall go. So ta-ta for now and all that jam. Toodaloo. 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 What I'm doing.